Hello, 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 ladies and gentlemen. Um, I believe it's week 6 of NFL, and yeah, got an interesting slate to say the least. Very, very interesting. But if you don't know who I am, my name is Shook. I make videos for NBA. I make videos for NFL. All these videos they get posted on this subreddit right here. It's called DF Sports. You can find my posts with my username Shook. I make updates with all the news that comes out throughout the day. You can ask me questions about the slate. I'll always respond to you. I completely forgot to check my messages on Twitter to see if you can message me or not. I will remember to do that right after this. Here's my Twitter if you ever need to get a hold of me privately. All right, let's get into it. We'll go player by player, or we'll go team by team. I'll go over my favorite stacks while we're going over team by team. And then we'll go over like what the best plays are on the slate, the plays that are going to be like the highest owned and stuff like that. Um, going to be very interesting. But this Reddit post will be linked down below in the YouTube comments, and then my Discord will also be linked down below, or linked in that Reddit post. You know, where I give you guys cash cores, JPP cores, videos, whole bunch of stuff. That'll be in there as well. All right, let's go over this slate. So before we do that, as you guys know, I show you my results every single day, so you can see how I'm doing. I cannot show you my results for the Thursday night game because I completely forgot to pull them up because I don't sweat my lineups and I'm obviously playing NBA preseason. So I should have done that, but I did cash on Thursday night in cash games. I didn't play any tournaments. The lineup I went with was Patrick Mahomes, captain, Kelsey, Russell Wilson, Kadarius Toney, Harrison Butker, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire was the cash lineup that I went with. Did very, very well. And then Sunday I cashed, main slate, afternoon slate cashed, Sunday night football cashed, and then Monday night cashed. So haven't missed a slate of cashing this week, so it's been great. And then if you guys are keeping track of my balance, yeah, it got up a little bit because NBA preseason. Been absolutely smashing NBA preseason. I was winning the main tournament, I think, or I was in second for $10,000. Well, I was chopping with two other people, so it wasn't 10K. But and then Torian Prince absolutely nuked, and I got fifth place in it for like $500, and then it was like a plus $900 day or something. The other day, it was like 2 days ago. But let's get into this. Let's do it. Let's go player by player. So looking at Washington versus Atlanta, where are the totals that I brought up? Washington, Atlanta. I don't know why they don't have these in order. Um, where is this game? Did I not have it up? Or am I blind? Guess they don't have it up. So I don't really have too much interest in Sam Howell at 5.5K. As you guys know, anyone's viable in tournaments. I personally, for me, I don't have any interest in Sam Howell. As far as the running back situations go, Brian Robinson I think is just fine. Pretty low floor. He kind of has to get in the end zone to kind of get you there. Don't love it. As far as the wide receivers go, I think McLaurin's fine. I don't love him as a one-off. I think Dotson's fine if you want to like jam in some volume, cheap at 4.7K. Playing a ton of snaps. I think he's still a little bit too cheap, so I don't hate some Dotson. Curtis Samuel, no thank you. I think we just have some much better value. And then I do like Logan Thomas. Got a ton of volume last game. He's probably going to be pretty popular this week, but for good reason. Definitely cannot expect 11 targets again, but 3.5, perfectly reasonable. He kind of falls into that category of like, Logan, Zach Ertz, those type guys. I definitely think I like Zach Ertz a little bit better, but I think Logan Thomas is completely fine. I think he's a solid tight end option at 3.5K. So that was pretty quick. That is the Washington Commanders. Let's move over to Atlanta. So my problem here with Ritter, I know he's had 37 attempts, 31, 38, 32. But look at the scores. They're all pretty close. My problem with Ritter is just Atlanta just wants to run the ball an absolute ton. So it's pretty hard for me in my one lineup to stack Ritter. If you're playing like 150 lineup, sure, sprinkle in a ton of stacks, right? But personally, for me, it's hard for me to get to Ritter. Bijan, Tyler Algier. I think Algier is playable, but we have more value on this slate. We have Chuba, we have Foreman now, so I'm not really too interested in Algier, although he is playable. Snaps have increased, or did increase last week. Bijan, if you want to pay up to be contrarian, he'll probably be completely unowned. I don't mind that. Involved in the pass game, probably gets like 15 to 18 touches a game. I don't mind it. I think it's fine. He'll probably be really low owned. As far as wide receiver goes, I think Drake London's a pretty good play, kind of in like that category of a guy that's going to get a lot of volume, going to play a ton of snaps. He's sub 5K. I think he makes for a decent value play. I don't really like anything else on that. And then we have Kyle Pitts and Jonnu Smith, who are kind of in that same kind of thing. If you want to lock in some volume, Kyle Pitts, Jonnu Smith, these guys, they're going to get decent chunk of volume at their price points. I prefer Kyle Pitts now to Jonnu now that they are at the same price. Kyle Pitts definitely has the higher ceiling to Jonnu as well. So I think Kyle Pitts is a solid tight end play at his price point as well. We have a lot of cheap tight ends that I think are pretty good plays. All right, Minnesota, big news here is Justin Jefferson is on IR. I don't mind stacking Kirk. Chicago cannot stop anything. Madison, I think, is a really good play this week. I know I sound like a broken record with Madison, but he's going to be on the field a ton. He is involved in the pass game, some good spot. As we've seen in past good spots, he's had really good games on the ground. 17 for 95. 20 for 93, and then he's played really tough spots against Philly, Tampa Bay, Kansas City's been good, right? So now he gets another pretty good spot. I think Madison is a very good running back play this week. I don't think a lot of people are going to be on. He's playing a ton as well. Even actually, let me look. Where is Let's take a look together. Did they play week 5? They did. I thought Cam Akers wasn't going to impact too much, and he still played about half the game. What was the score of that game? And they were trailing, so yeah, I do still like me some Madison at that price point. Then we have Justin Jefferson on IR. So what that's going to do? That's going to make KJ Osborne look like one of the best value plays on the slate personally to me. He's going to be thrust kind of in that JJ role. Addison's role is not really going to change much, but he's going to have to get more targets. I think he's solid. And then Hawkinson, I think, is a pretty solid tight end play if you want to pay up as well. So I'm really, really high on KJ Osborne, though. He is my clear favorite, and it's not close at all. And then I don't mind Kirk stacks this week. If I'm doing it, I'm probably just doing this. I think this is my favorite pairing. And then if you do want a bring back for this, it's probably going to be DJ Moore for me. As far as cash games go or like optimal plays, I'm not going to go to like Madison or any of them. I think KJ Osborne looks like a great play if you're playing cash games or something like that. Did I miss any cash stuff in this stuff? Logan Thomas on Washington, I think, is completely fine. Kyle Pitts, I think, is fine. If you want to go there and cash as a tight end play too. I do like Minnesota this week. Let's move on to Chicago. I think Fields is fine. I don't love stacking him this week. I think he's fine for cash, has that rushing upside. So I don't hate it. I think he's a solid cash game option. Here we have the running back situation. So Herbert, Johnson, both out. That pretty much just leaves Foreman. You have Chuba, you have Foreman as the value plays this week. I believe below 5K they both are. Algier is below 5K. Yeah, they pretty much have nobody but Foreman, so he's going to get a ton of volume. Too cheap, in my opinion. So I think Foreman looks good. You can go there and cash as well. As far as wide receivers go, I don't love much. Like if you're stacking Fields, double stacking. I mean, this game does have a decently okay total, if I recall correctly. 44. As you look, most of the totals on this slate are pretty ass. So I don't mind more. I think Komet, I think, is overpriced for me, but fine. If you really want to stack Fields, I'm probably, I think this is your best bet. But Once again, not one of my favorite stacks on the week, but I think Fields is a good cash game play if you want to go there. All right, another pretty appealing game to me to stack as far as the Bengals side goes. This total 45.5. I think Gino is reasonable. Ken Walker, I think, is just okay. Charbonnet's been getting snaps of late. So I'm just okay with Ken Walker. Wide receivers go, as you guys know, DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett. I think Tyler Lockett's the safer of the bunch. DK Metcalf has the higher ceiling, but fine. I think I definitely just prefer the Bengals side of this game. No real interest in the tight ends here for Seattle. And as far as cash, I don't think I'm really getting to anyone in a cash game setting there. Joe Burrow, I think, looks phenomenal. I finally faded last week. I played him here. Just sucked. Just sucked. I think one of them was a showdown slate. Um, Finally had a good week against Arizona. Now he gets Seattle. I think he looks phenomenal. I think he's too cheap. I think a lot of people are going to be on him. I think a lot of people are going to be on Chase. So just know if you are stacking Burrow, you're going to have to find some ways to get different. But absolutely love Joe Burrow stacks this week. I think Joe Mixon is a pretty good play. We'll have to monitor the news with T. Higgins, but he gets a boost if T. Higgins is out as well. Really like Mixon. Chase, probably one of my favorite wide receiver plays on the slate. If you are spending up, I absolutely love him. If T. Higgins is out, then we're going to see a ton of Trenton Irwin. I don't mind him as a value. Tyler Boyd, his role's just fine. His targets will go up a little bit, not much though. It'll mainly just be Chase, Irwin gaining a bunch. So I think Boyd's a good value. I think Irwin's a good value. I think Chase looks phenomenal. As far as the tight ends go, not really too much interest in them, but this team does look really, really, really appealing to me, especially as a stack. I think if you want, the best option, it's this, but I don't mind Irwin. I think Irwin's perfectly fine value if Higgins is out. He ran a ton of routes last week. As far as Cass, I think Joe Burrow's up there is a good quarterback option. Mixon, I think, is good. Jamar Chase, probably the best spend up option if you are going with the wide receiver. I don't mind Boyd in cash. Don't know about Irwin yet. I don't hate it though. And none of the tight ends for me. This game's basically just a cross-off for me. I don't really like much here. This game's really, really, really going to be pretty sloggy. Taking a look at this total. I don't know if they have this one up either. I should have just used the free one I usually use, but this layout seemed a bit better for me. They do. It's 35.5. So no way I'm playing Purdy. If you want to pay up to be contrarian for Christian McCaffrey up against Cleveland, I don't love it. He'll probably be really low owned. I don't like any of these wide receivers. I don't like Kittle. So this team and this game is basically like a cross off for me. PJ Walker's going to start at quarterback because Dorian Thompson-Robinson was god awful in his start. He's mid-price, whatever. Don't think we need to go there. Don't love the running backs. Don't like the wide receivers. Don't like the tight ends. So this game is just really, really unappealing for me. New Orleans at Houston. So taking a look at this total here. I don't know if they have this one. 42.5. Not in love with car stacks this week. Running back, I think Alvin Kamara looks really good. Taking a look at his snaps from last week. Where is New Orleans? They weren't on a bye, right? I don't think they were. Here they are. Taking a look at Kamara's snaps last week, he played 45 to 72 snaps, so basically full go. Got 22 attempts, 3 targets. They were up a ton, so they didn't really need to throw him the ball much. So Kamara at 6'8", I think is great going up against Houston, who last year we just streamed running backs against all season. Really like Kamara involved in the passing game as well. I think Michael Thomas is really good too at 4'9". You're just locking in volume here. He's too cheap. Really like Thomas. And tight end, there's not much. As far as stacking and stuff, no thank you. As far as cash games go, I think Kamara is a good option. Thomas is fringe, but I don't mind it. All right, Houston, Stroud, no thank you. The running backs, no thank you. Wide receiver, meh. Not much here. Robert Woods is going to be back. I don't mind him playing out of the slot. I think it's fine. Nico has shown his ceiling. Fair. Don't love much. Dalton Schultz finally got into the end zone last week with 10 targets if you want to ride the hot hand there. Whatever. I think there are cheaper tight ends that look a little bit better to me. All right, Gardner Minshew, I don't mind at all. I think this game is very, very appealing. He's super cheap. You can lock in volume with Pittman. You can lock in volume with Josh Downs at 4.1K, who is in that KJ Osborne group, who I think stands out as a really, really good value. The tight ends are disgusting, but if you want to go with the Granson, I think that's fine. But this would be my clear favorite stack with him. Downs playing a ton of snaps, Pittman playing a ton of snaps. Both clearly the highest in target market share on this team. Decent total going up against Jacksonville. Gardner Minshew, a perfectly capable quarterback at 5K. I think it's pretty good. As far as bringbacks go for this game, I think my favorite is just Christian Kirk or ETN, point per dollar. I don't mind Ridley at all either. And then as far as, like optimal stuff, Gardner Minshew I think is in play. Jonathan Taylor I don't like. Definitely not going to go there in cash, but I forgot to mention him. They're going to increase his snaps. I don't like it though. And then Josh Downs I think is completely fine. On to Jacksonville. So really like Lawrence stacks this week. Super easy to pair. Super easy bringbacks on the other side, and like Josh Downs, Pittman. Not going to include ETN in those stacks, but I think ETN's a pretty good play. Also playing a ton of snaps, involved in the passing game. 26 attempts for 136 yards, 20 attempts for 55, but the targets, full PPR scoring. If he's going to keep averaging, which last year they just did not throw him the ball at all, if they're going to keep throwing him 3+ balls a game, he is still too cheap in my eyes. So ETN I like quite a bit. Cash games completely fine. I think you can go to Lawrence and cash if you want to as well. I think forgot to mention Agnew. Not going to go there in cash, but I think he gets an increase with Zay Jones out. I think Kirk looks great at his price point, so definitely a fan of this game. I think that game will be pretty popular as well. And another game that I'm a big fan of that I think a lot of people will be on as well. Carolina, what is their total at? I'm going to try and speed this up a little bit. We're not even going to worry about it. But we have Miles Sanders out. You're going to see Chuba Hubbard get a bulk of the work. He is too cheap. Really good play. If you want to go there and cash, that's fine. Adam Thielen has absolutely dominated the targets on this team. I still like him even at that price point. Don't think a lot of people are going to want to go there at 6K. DJ Chark, I think, is solid too. 6 targets, 3 targets, 11 targets. We've seen the emergence of Jonathan Mingo, 7 targets, 6 targets, 8 targets. So we know where the ball is going with Carolina. It's pretty simple. Hurst has basically disappeared. So as far as cash games, don't love much. If you want to go to Thielen, it's fine. If you want to go to Chark, it's fine. Don't love it though. And then I think Chuba is a pretty good play as well. And then my favorite bring back, if you were to stack, I don't love stacking, would be obviously Tyreek. Just play every lineup to his stacks. This offense is just absolutely incredible. If you play Tua, you're probably going to win every single week. We have a Shane on IR, so Raheem Mostert props up into one of the best running back plays on the slate. Now, be careful here. He's not going to suddenly play like 80% of the snaps. Just not going to happen, right? Probably around 60. Going up against a phenomenal spot in Carolina. Just don't overreact. He's not going to get 60+ or 65+% of the snaps, right? But it's a phenomenal spot. Noah Shane should be in there a lot. So Mostert looks phenomenal. Tyreek Hill looks phenomenal as well. Absolutely love him. I think Waddle's a great tournament play. I don't love much else there. If you want to go to Barrios, that's fine. I think Smythe is reasonable, but Tua stacks probably one of, if not my favorite stacks on the week. And you have a ton of value to just be able to fit this in very, very easily. And if I were to play a bring back, I definitely do like some Chuba or Jonathan Mingo. Cash, two is reasonable. Mostert, one of the best running back cash plays on the slate. Tyreek, one of the best spend ups on the slate, and don't think I'm considering really much else there. Let me make sure, put the salary right. This game is just a snoozer. Don't have too much interest in the quarterbacks or the wide receivers. Kendrick Bourne, Parker with Juju out, they're going to get a bunch of volume. I don't mind them as value plays. Don't love the tight and snow cash stuff there. Raiders don't love Garoppolo going up against New England. I think Jacobs is fine. Too solid. Finally, he's had 2 good weeks back to back. The volume has been great. So I think Jacobs is good. Wide receivers, Adams is fair, would rank below Tyreek and Chase for me personally, but always playable in a cash game setting. Myers is reasonable. He's getting a ton of targets as well, as you can see here, 10 for, but this was with AOC, 12, 10. I think he's fine. And then don't love any of the tight ends here for the Raiders. I'm not going to stack any of them. Cash stuff, Jacobs, reasonable. Adams, reasonable. Detroit at Tampa Bay, I also don't love much here outside of the running backs. Don't like Goff. I think Montgomery's another great play. Just let's take a look at his snaps from last week. Where's Detroit? Sometimes my eyes deceive me. Here they are. And he played 70% of the snaps. Reynolds, I believe, got a touchdown. Vulture Day, I was extremely pissed about that. But just a volume thing with Montgomery. You can just project him for a ton of volume. So I like Monty. Don't like stacks with don't like stacking this team. Don't like this game too much. And then we have Laporte questionable. We'll monitor that, and I'll make an update on Reddit there. Cash stuff. Montgomery, great. Don't love the wide receivers. Sun God, whatever. Don't like Baker. Don't like the running backs here. I guess White's fine. I don't like it. Don't love the wide receivers, and I don't like the tight ends. No cash stuff there. Another game that is very, very appealing to me. Dobbs has looked great. He's looked really, really good. Don't mind Dobbs, but we have Connor out, so be careful here. DeMarcado looked really, really good last week. Now we have Ingram back, and apparently, if we look at the depth chart for them, we have Ingram ahead of DeMarcado. So just be a little bit careful here. We're just going to have to monitor the situation. Last I looked, there was nothing on it. I'll check again after this video, and then I'll make updates on Reddit. We'll just monitor what they're going to do with the running back situation, but we could have some more value here. Got him on the injury with Marquise Brown. If I had to guess, he will be playing. So I like Marquise Brown. He's too cheap. I don't like much else here. Michael Wilson was extreme chalk last week. He busted for the slaps. And I think Zach Ertz is, once again, if you want cheap volume, he is there. I think it's solid. As far as cash, I think Marquise Brown and Ertz make for good options. Like Stafford stacks, so we have Cooper Kupp back. Looked like himself. Got 12 targets, 8 receptions. We saw Puka Nacua still get targeted 11 times. So it's basically going to be these twos, but you're going to have to pay a premium for it. Tutu Atwell, really, really low floor with Cooper Kupp back, but he did get into the end zone. He still does have a ceiling at 5-1, but he's definitely overpriced with Stafford back. But I think Stafford looks like a very, very solid stacking option. With Kupp and Nacua, you can easily fit both if you wanted to. And I think Higbee is just meh. Favorite bring back going to be Marquise Brown, Hollywood, and then cash stuff. Stafford, I think, is good option. I'll do a recap at the end. Oh, Kyron Williams. Another kind of like volume thing. He's just gonna log a ton of volume, a ton of involved in the passing game as well. I think he is solid. Price came down as well, going up against Arizona, really good. So, um, yeah, I'm pretty high on this Rams team. As far as cast stuff, Stafford good. Kyron, I think, looks like a very good play. Cooper Cup, I think, is a good spend up if you need it. Not going to go to Higbee. So Eagles at Jets, low total here, but Hurts is always in play to me as a stack. They'll be really, really low owned. If I were to stack, it would be something like that. I don't mind Goddard, but he's fine. And then the running backs, I think they're priced about right. Cash stuff, no thank you in this game. And the Jets are basically just a cross off for me. So if you're playing cash this week, it's really whatever just fits your lineups as far as the quarterback stuff goes. Like if you can't afford a Trevor Lawrence, if you can't afford a Joe Burrow, then whatever works, just whatever fits your lineup. If you're $100 short for Joe Burrow, then just go Stafford. If you're um, let me see if there's even if you want to go more stars and scrubs, you can go to like a Minshew. There's no clear cut quarterback this week, um, unless you wanted to go to like a Justin Fields at the top and you have the money. You could easily fit Justin Fields this week. Um, it's really what fits your lineup. Like if you have the money for Fields, go Fields. If you don't, go to like a Burrow. Go to like Stafford. If you don't have the money for them, go to like I don't know, Gardner Minshew, right? Last year, I believe there were a few slates. Gardner Minshew was I played him in cash games, did just fine. He's perfectly capable. Um, so yeah, just do whatever fits your lineup, and I think you'll be all good. So I hope this video helped you guys out, and I will talk to y'all in the next one.